impacting the growth of our youth. So I want you to factor in that aspect as well because it's going to spill over to the next question of the political issue.
Yeah, so on that, thank you for reminding me again, because there is a very important response to that answer again. See, when you are availing of exemption from taxation as a tribal individual, you are kind of cutting your own wings, because you want to be within that exemption limit, and you're not allowing yourself to grow into big corporates or limited liability partnerships. So I think we should now be thinking big, that I want to be contributing to tax because I want my business to be big, I want my business to grow now into a limited liability partnership or at a corporate level. So this is the level that we need to be aspiring for. Does that answer your question, Mr. Moderator? Shall I repeat it for you? Thank you.
New education policy, there should be an entire chapter on Northeast. I mean, why not? I mean, this is something that we all can do across party lines, and at least kids grow up learning about Northeast rather than having to come to a festival to see what the culture is. I think we at our Leaders Connect, we should write to all the chief ministers that get the government of India to introduce a chapter on Northeast. Why not?
I think I'll go to kind of. No, I'll keep to that. Such better. See, if you look at the recent university curriculums, even in Delhi University or JNU, in the past, they will not read textbooks or books written by scholars from the Northeastern region. But today, it's part of the curriculum, they read it. In fact, recently I was very amused that there was a fight between, the representations were written by one media organization asking Delhi University to drop one textbook because it mentions the Anglo-Kuki war in Manipur. So, I mean, it only is telling on the fact that today, instead of other regions' history, today they are also discussing the history of the region. So, the new education policy actually has been promoting that. It's a progressive policy. I think if there are any constructive criticism given, I think as far as I know, our chief ministers are already doing that. But why not? Why not we have a larger conclave on discussing that? But coming back to your taxation, you see, all of you are ignoring my main question. I'm talking from the grassroots perspective.
So area-wise is big, but I always ensure that being a chief minister, I should know the region, because every region in my state has its own peculiar challenges, they have their resources, challenges, and that potential also. Every district differs from each. We can't make things one size fit all. It doesn't happen in Arunachal Pradesh. So every district approach has to be different, for which chief minister should very well know कि उस area में क्या problem है. So that's why I keep on traveling, but without hampering the competitiveness. So in that area, what I have done a long time back, now this is an era of digital technology, IT. So what I have insisted and what I have done, and we have achieved 100%, is that the filing movement should be on e-file. E-file is one of the best reforms. It can do away with corruption. I think if government-related officers are here, they will know better. In that old region, what happens, in government business, file नीचे से शुरू होके आता है ऊपर लेवल CM तक. तो कुछ ऐसे होता है कि corruption, the file का noting change हो जाता है, sanction order manipulate हो जाता है, not many things. When you intercept that thing with technology and when you introduce this e-filing system, you can do wonders. And e-filing system, I can do it from here also. I can just open my mobile, I have my own password, so there is no interference in business. I have made good use of technology.
Absolutely very fascinating, because I remember, in fact, why I wanted others to also know is how our chief minister has been very, very technology friendly. He probably in his visit the past 4 or 5 hours, he must have cleared 20-30 files with your knowing you because of e-filing. So I think that's really great, and even our government, we want to make sure that at least as a starter Some departments we could start e-files as well. We'll be needing, not yet started, yes. So that brings me to the next question of best practices, because we're talking of the Northeast, and we wanted to hear your story first, because all the good things that we have done, which the other states can also replicate. So apart from the e-file, which probably again our government can also learn the best practices from your government, please share with us at least one or two other examples of some of the best practices that your government is doing at the moment.
Here, I think one more area is there. See, now the time has changed. During earlier times, since there were no road, no development, and less of education, at that time, the government, that level of performing was also something different. Now, since we are all into the modern area, and it's an, as mentioned, it's a digital area. So especially you should know how to tackle the youth. That's very important. And as mentioned, I think before that, the 50% of the Northeast population, I think Dr. Bina has mentioned, 50% of the population from Northeast is the youth power. So every government should be very sensitive to address the youth problem, what they need, how to provide platform. So in that line, I have done a very, one of the biggest reforms that I consider. Way back in 2017, I have instituted the Staff Selection Board. So prior to that, when I was a minister, I have seen that, in my state, in the government of Arunachal, at that point of time, there was no particular, system to recruit the Group C and Group D staff. They directly, with their own ministry thing and all, they recruit directly from there. And there, what, corruption, it happens. All the jobs which were given, they were given to the minister's family, MLA's family, officers' family, and those who are well connected to the government. It has happened since very long. And I said, I don't have to blame any party, I don't have to blame any leader. Since at that point of time there was no system, so that was the system that I can't blame. Now I say, now we have to change. We have to give a platform for the youth to be competitive, and selection should be based on merit. So I have instituted the Staff Selection Board with the mandate of our assembly. It's into an act now. So through that act, not many talented boys they are now joining the workforce. Just coming to Kohima, yesterday only I had a function where I had distributed 144 job cards to the qualified one, and very soon again I am going to distribute 1,400 job cards to all those who has qualified through the Staff Selection Board. So this is a big reform. With this, what happens? The dependency on MLAs and ministers directly from the youth, it will go away, and it will be a clean election. Since Arunachal and Nagaland, we have a few similarities in politics also, which sometimes I also suffer. One of the moderator was mentioning regarding this election processing and all. So, during elections also at that point of time, when any political candidates, they go for asking votes, at that point of time, the family, they calculate how many votes they have, and they direct negotiate, after if you win, then we have to get this kind of इतना amount का job हमको देना चाहिए. तो ये चलते आया है सदियों से. तो वो चीज़ जो है from 2019 election onwards, it has totally stopped. Now people back in my state, they know if they want government job, they need to study. So education का parameter भी quality भी बढ़ गया है, and this kind of reforms we have done. And the second, I think, good practice that Arunachal has taken up, in which you are very much deeply involved, especially empowering the women. In 2016 itself, I started this self-help group movement across Arunachal Pradesh, and we have around 9,300 self-help group across the state. Total in that member, we have around 85,000 women, and for them we have linked with the banking sector also, and we have provided financial assistance for all the SSGs, PLF and CLF, all these organizations. So actually, the population of Northeast is more in rural areas. If you want to develop your state in true sense, we need to empower the village. And village will be only be empowered since from long time immemorial, women they played a very important role in our society. So women should be always empowered. So 2016 onwards, the journey of self-help group, it has taken a big revolution in my state. So every village we can find self-help group, as PLF, CLF. So this kind of movement that it has taken there.
And one thing I was wondering and also was discussing with our friends that you came here quite alone. You can see that you have no securities, and out here we have a VIP culture where every dignitary has a lot of people following them around, and it's so hard to also, to get access to them. But we have seen that you have no security, you're just going around just freely, no VIP culture. So can you tell us something that we should learn to do with this VIP culture in our state?
I think, like I said, I'm not a politician. So, this is a human nature, in fact. Since security is meant, according to me, since I'm not, just differing with what the protocol has to say. Protocol, they have their own book and they have their own business. But I don't believe protocol. Since I don't have any threat, what's the point of carrying too much of armed men, like this? See, when I go to Delhi, I go in an auto and I take, this cabs also. So, since you don't have any security problem, so why not, put yourself into problem?
Interestingly, sir and I we had a meeting in Delhi. So I was thinking Chief Minister ka meeting here, so some very fancy place or something, and I'm asking, sir, where are you? And he's telling me, in that mall, some mall in Delhi, and then I'm searching for me and he's standing at the escalator all alone, so that is Pema Khandu for us.
I'm the chairman of Nagaland Industrial Development Corporation. I also run a college here in Dimapur and a financial advisory that deals in mutual funds, taxation, and things like that. I had one question regarding the roads, development funds, electricity, everything. Most of that is being taken care of by Indian taxpayers, is what I assume. Isn't it giving tribals a sense of entitlement and forcing us to be dependent on any government that is in power in the center? Do you think we should be paying income tax? Shouldn't we be taking responsibility for the region we are located in through our own funds? What is the way forward, in your opinion?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, especially for the policymakers. Since a short ago I have mentioned that we, the states from Northeast, we are under a special category, 90:10 funding pattern. But what I believe that slowly, we also need to make up our mind that slowly, since we are already in a stage of competition with the rest of the states, slowly we should have a vision to do away with that special category. People should also stop seeing like, these are special category states, they are using our money kind of thing, it doesn't go well in the stomach, So, as a policy maker, the focus should be the revenue generation, that's very important. And in context of that also, before I took over as Chief Minister in my state, the state-owned resources was just 900 crores in 2015. 900 crores in 2015. And if you look back the journey of Arunachal Pradesh, we were under Union Territory in 1972, and in 1987 we were given full-fledged statehood. So the journey of that internal fund generation, internal revenue generation started way back in 1972 itself. Slowly. So in 2015, it came to, in a 1 year, that SOR, state-owned resources, was 900 crores. From there, if we talk about 2023, I have crossed 3,500 crores. So we need to be, slowly we should focus on revenue generation model. How long we can depend on union government? Luckily, the Prime Minister is so generous to Northeast. His budget doesn't end up without mentioning for Northeast. So, but see, it's a democracy, in long run, some different prime minister may come, some different party may come, it's a democracy design. So how long can we depend on union government in small things? We should all need to be Atmanirbhar. We should all need to stand up in our field. We have the resources. Northeast has plenty of resources. What we need is, a good policy, how to convert the resources into our revenue. So this kind of, policy interventions has to be there. We need to have experts. With saying this, I'm not saying that politicians and the policy makers are experts. No, they are not. They should have the political, vision. They should have the political, need to be very strong in political decision. Experts we need to hire. Agriculture, horticulture, hydropower, whatever resources you have, you need to keep experts in the system so that they guide the department and the politicians very well. If you leave everything among politicians, it will go haywire again.